We are here together. I invite those of us here in person to turn to the camera near the welcoming congregation banner and wave to our live streaming friends. Let us now take a moment to turn and greet one another.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this morning's service. We have our special pageant today. Welcome to the service of the Winchester Unitarian Society, a caring religious community devoted to spiritual growth, social transformation, and environmental responsibility. And we are a welcoming congregation, and we affirm the full inclusion of people of all sexual orientations and gender identities. I'm Martin Newhouse. I'm worship associate this morning. I have a minimal role, you'll be happy to know. So our faith, as we know, does not require us to believe in any dogma or tenet or creed, but while it doesn't impose any of those, it does recognize that we have to do certain things, and among them we welcome everyone with us. We affirm the inherent worth and dignity of every person, and we greet with joy everybody who is here with us this morning, both in person and via live streaming. We have only one announcement, which will be given to us by Patty Cameron.
Good morning. I should change this a little bit and say follow the wise person, but I'll keep to my script. It's circle dinner time. And can I have a show of hands on who's participated before in circle dinners? Look at all of that. This is just a fantastic way for you to get to know each other a little bit better. We meet once a month, either in people's homes or here at the church, whatever you prefer, from January to April, to share a meal and good conversation. If you're single, partnered, family with kids, this is for you. If you're vegan, vegetarian, carnivore, this is for you. So we will be taking sign-ups today downstairs at the luncheon, and either using your iPhone or I have my laptop, and we just want to know what your dietary preferences are, weeks of the days of the week, and so forth. Anybody online who would like to attend, who's within driving distance, I hope that you will take advantage of that QR code and in the morning announcements and sign up as well. It's also posted in highlights. We look forward to connecting on a much more deeper level. Please join us. Thank you.
Thank you, Patty. Finally, as Patty mentioned, after the service, we are all invited to join Wussy G for their Winterfest downstairs in Metcalf, followed by carol singing. And now let us open our hearts and minds to the spirit of worship.
Our invocation this morning is adapted from the words of Alex Klingenberg. She wrote, "We come together this morning to remember the history, or the myth, that says hope was born in the form of a baby named Jesus. What is so compelling about the story of Jesus' birth, his life, his love? Why has this story reached across the ages to us while so many others have faded into history? Jesus embodies the best of what humanity can be: compassionate, humble, brave, and mortal. Jesus asks us to make the most of our life, to create joy where there is pain, to care for the poor and question the powerful, and perhaps most importantly, to question the purpose of our own lives. What will we leave in our wake, and whom will we be reborn? What light can we bring to the darkness? This morning, we contemplate the significance that one person can have and revel in the joy of possibilities. We'll also revel in the joy of having fun together as we tell this story. Come, let us worship together.
And now I'd like to invite Otto Spencer to come and light our chalice, if you can find it. And our words of the chalice line today are by Christian Schmidt and Alexis Capon. We light this chalice for our children and youth and for us, celebrating the flame of faith lit in each of us, honoring the light each of us bring into the world, rejoicing in the community we create together. Great, thank you. Please now rise in body or spirit to join in singing our opening hymn, Go Tell It on the Mountain. The words are found in your order of service. I now invite Roseanne Barr to come forward to tell us about our Share the Plate recipient.
Good morning. My name's Roseanne Hogan. I work at Bridge Over Troubled Waters in Boston. We have been an organization that's been around since 1970, and we work with runaway, at-risk, and homeless youth between the ages of 14 and 24. And we meet them where they're at, and we take them the whole way. And we do everything from street outreach and survival kits all the way to residential housing. At every point along the continuum, we offer mental health counseling, career and education training, and we have 3 core initiatives. The first one is intervention and prevention, because preventing it from happening is key, and intervening while it's happening is also very important. 50% of the people that you see that are chronically homeless in doorways and on park benches started their homeless journey when they were at this critical transitional age. So changing that trajectory is absolutely priceless. We also have Pathways to Self-Sufficiency, which is our second initiative, where we will pay for them to get their HiSET exam, which back in my day was called a GED. Because you cannot move forward in this world, sadly, without education, as you all know. They're not lazy kids. A lot of them will work 2 and 3 jobs, and we'll have to convince them, hey, let's make it one and go back to school, you know? And then after they get their HiSET, well, what do you want to do with after this? Is it a college path? Is it working with your hands, working with a union? What's going to be best for you? And there's trauma that's associated with that. And then finally, there's housing and access to housing. We have an emergency residential program, a transitional living program, as well as a single parent house, where, which is the only one of its kind in the city. Young woman can come in with up to 2 children. She can be pregnant at the time. And unlike every other program in the city, we will work with them during the pregnancy, and they can come back to us after they have the child. In all the other programs, it's one way or the other, and we found by making it all-inclusive that it's easier for them to go. And during your coffee hour, I'll be in the back to tell you more, and I thank you very much for Bridge being part of your Share the Plate this week and till the end of the month, so thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Roseanne Hogan. The different ways to give are in your order of service and will also be projected on the screen for those who are live streaming our service. The offering will now be generously given and gratefully received. Those who wish to do so are now invited to join in the unison affirmation. We gather not for ourselves alone, but to use our common power to build the beloved community within and beyond these walls. We create and reaffirm this covenant this day to make justice flourish, to practice compassion amidst difference, and to embody transformative love.
It is almost time for our paper bag pageant. Liz and Sophia, are there any important roles missing? We're good, awesome. All right, so if you haven't already put on your costume, please do so now. Each year, we retell the story of Jesus' birth. This morning, I invite you to hear this ancient and familiar story once again. The story of a baby born in a stable, the story of shepherds and wise people, the story of angels and shining stars. Many of you will take part in the telling of this story. You will help us to experience this old story in a new way, as if it were happening for the first time, right here and right now. Brenda and I will narrate the story, and we will give you directions and tell you when it is your turn to come up front. Don't worry about doing things right or making mistakes, because today, there are no mistakes. That is the most important part of the directions. There aren't any mistakes today. There's only us, telling the story of the birth of a little baby named Jesus, who was born in an unexpected place and grew up to have a hard and important life, and whose teachings were all about love, inclusive, accepting, challenging love. And these teachings about love are so powerful that we are still teaching them today. There's only us bringing the story of that baby's birth joyfully and messily and chaotically to life. And messy and chaotic, and hopefully with a lot of joy, is how new life usually comes into the world. So that is exactly how it should be here this morning, too. So, if Mary and Joseph and their donkey will go to the back of the sanctuary, please, and a certain Roman emperor, who will hopefully have mercy upon the narrators, and not threaten to toss them to the lions, will come to the pulpits, the story can begin.
A long time ago, in a place called Palestine, the Roman Empire ruled the land, and everyone had to do what the emperor, that's me, told them to do, whether they liked it or not, even if it meant that the people had to travel a long way in order to get counted, so that they will have to give me money. And that is exactly what happened. In those days, a decree went out from Emperor Augustus, me, and here is what it said. All the world has to be counted in a census, so I will know how many people owe me money, and once I know how many people there are, I will make them pay me taxes. And just to be perfectly clear, I am the emperor, and I am in charge of all the things, so they will pay those taxes to me.
So all the people had to go to the city or town where they had been born to register. For some people, that meant a long journey. Joseph, a carpenter, and Mary, the woman to whom he was engaged to be married, lived in the town of Nazareth. And they had to go to the town of Bethlehem, which was about 70 miles, around the same as going from Winchester to Cape Cod, on a donkey. Yes, a very long walk. Mary and Joseph and Mary's little donkey, will you begin your long, slow journey from Nazareth up the center aisle now? Can you stop them at the steps? Stop them at the steps. Yeah. Mary was pregnant, and she was going to have her baby very soon, so she was tired and very uncomfortable. Walking was hard, and riding on the donkey hurt her back. But there was nothing that could be done about it. They had to go. Okay, if you guys can stay right there for now. So they traveled slowly, sometimes even walking into the dark nights, which were lit only by bright stars. We need some bright stars now. Will the stars please come forward and stand on the chancel so you can shine on the rest of the story? If at any point some stars need to rest, we have some stools back here. John, could you play some starry music while the stars get into place?
Joseph finally arrived in Bethlehem. They went to the inn in Bethlehem. Innkeeper, would you come up front to answer the door? The innkeeper answered the door and told Mary and Joseph and their little donkey,
Sorry. Between the census and the first night of Hanukkah tonight, my rooms are full. There's no room for you here. But just to set the record straight, I'm really not an innkeeper. I'm a distant relative of Joseph's. It's like this. Joseph was born in Bethlehem, and I'm a distant fourth cousin, twice removed, and there's no way I'm gonna let Joseph and Mary go stay at an inn to stay with strangers. I mean, I'm not even sure we have inns, but the problem is that the rooms in my house are set aside for guests, and our rooms are full, almost overpacked.
The guest rooms were full because so many people had returned to Bethlehem for the census. But Joseph's fourth cousin, twice removed, saw how tired Mary and Joseph were and how very pregnant Mary was, and he knew he had to make room somewhere. The custom of providing welcome was very strong. So he told them they could stay in the stable. But the stable wasn't a building out in the back, separate from everything else. In those days and at that time, people had a small room attached to the main part of their house that was for their animals. So it would have been pretty crowded in the stable and full of animals because it was, well, a stable. But the family would have been nearby too, and Mary and Joseph would not have been all alone while she went through labor and childbirth. Anyway, the innkeeper, also known as Joseph's fourth cousin, twice removed, said,
I have an idea. Come on in. You can stay in the stable. It isn't much, and my animals are all there because, well, it's a stable. But it's a warm place, and you can rest, and I'll bring you food and some water for washing your blankets. Really, it's pretty comfortable. Come on in. I will show you.
Innkeeper, would you lead Mary and Joseph and their donkey to the stable?
Now, as the innkeeper has said, the stable was just a very small room, kind of stuck onto the rest of the house. And like most stables, it had animals in it. The innkeeper kept a donkey there and a small milk cow and a flock of chickens. And there was a beautiful barn cat and some quiet mice. And I think we had a chebra there. I'm pretty sure there was a chebra and a dragon and a lot of other very interesting animals. So will all of these animals and creatures, except the camels and the sheep who come later in the story, come on up and gather in the stable. You can crawl or slither or hop or walk or fly up here, depending on what kind of animal or creature or being you are. If you didn't choose a costume but you would still like to come to the stable, come on up. And if you are shy or a very small animal, maybe one of your grown-ups would come with you to the stable. Great. We got all our animals? Fantastic. Okay. The animals welcomed Mary and Joseph and were even kind enough to give up their hay-filled manger or feeding trough so the baby could have a bed. As soon as Mary and Joseph got settled in, it became clear that it was time for the baby to be born. So while the baby is being born, let's stand as we are able and join in singing "Away in a Manger." The words are on the insert in your order of service.
Beautiful little baby, as you can see, in a simple stable surrounded by animals. Yeah, really big baby, tough pregnancy. Joseph and Mary wrapped their baby up warmly, and they named the baby Jesus because Joseph had already had a dream that the baby's name should be Jesus. The animals welcomed the baby by making all their animal noises, chirping or mooing or baaing or meowing or barking, but gently so that they wouldn't scare the baby. So animals, can you make your gentle noises for the baby, please? Animals. Nice. Now, in that region, there were shepherds living in the fields, keeping watch over their flocks by night. They were high up in the hills, keeping their sheep safe on a dark and quiet night. So now we need the shepherds and the sheep. Will all the shepherds and sheep please gather in the back of the sanctuary? So you're gonna head back there, guys. And shepherds, bring your crooks, please. When you're ready, is our border collie back there as well? We need the border collie. Oh, there we go. So when you are ready, our border collie named Abby will lead you halfway down the aisle to your hills. Meanwhile, will the congregation please stand as able and sing the first Noel while the sheep, shepherds, and border collie make their way to the hills halfway down the aisle. The words are on the insert in your order of service.
So while the shepherds were watching their flocks by night, suddenly an angel named Gabriel, who was an extremely important and very cool angel among all the angels, stood before them. John, could you do a short burst of angel music while Angel Gabriel comes to stand before us? The angel stood before them, and a great light shone all around them. And the shepherds were sore afraid, which means terrified. But the angel said to them,
Fear not, for behold, I bring you good tidings of great joy, which shall be for all people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a deliverer, a Messiah, who is Christ the Lord. And this shall be a sign to you. You shall find the baby wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. In other words, there is nothing to be afraid of. I have amazing, incredible, good news, and it is for everyone. Today in Bethlehem, a baby was born, and this baby is going to grow up and make things better, especially for people who don't have riches or power, the ones that everyone just walks by without really seeing. Well, this baby will see them. Don't bother looking in fancy places, though. You will find the baby in a little shed, all wrapped up, surrounded by animals and sleeping in the hay in a feeding trough, which is actually pretty comfortable, in my angelic opinion.
And suddenly there was with the angel Gabriel a whole choir of angels. So will all the angels fly over and join Gabriel in the sky on the chancel now? John, could you give us some more angelic music while all the angels get in place? So the shepherds said to one another, "Let us go now to Bethlehem and see this thing that has taken place." So the shepherds went quickly to Bethlehem, bringing along their sheep, and the angels gathered in the sky around the stable to help light the way. So while all the angels and the shepherds and sheep and border collies come to Bethlehem, let's stand as able and join in singing, "Angels We Have Heard on High." The words are in your order of service.
The shepherds and their sheep found Mary and Joseph and the baby lying in the manger, just as the angel Gabriel had told them. And they were so amazed. They told everyone what the angel had said to them about the newborn baby. And everyone who heard the story was amazed too. But Mary just remembered all these things and kept them in her heart, though. Mostly, she loved her baby. And the sheep gently baaed for the baby. Can we get some gentle baas from the sheep? Because they were so happy and they loved the baby so much as well. They sensed that this baby was special. Sheep, Can you baw a little more now for baby Jesus? Baw. Now, after Jesus was born in Bethlehem, 3 wise persons who were kings and queens from the Far East, came to Jerusalem, traveling on camels. Will the wise persons and their camels go to the back of the sanctuary now, please? Don't forget to bring your gifts. What happened was that the wise persons had learned about a prophecy, a prediction, that the Messiah, the long-awaited king of the Jewish people, would be born in Bethlehem. So the wise persons set out with their camels on a long journey to Bethlehem, bearing special and beautiful gifts for the baby because they wanted to honor the baby. When the wise persons finally found this baby in the stable, they were overwhelmed with joy. As they opened their bags and brought out their gifts of gold and frankincense and myrrh. So let's stand and join in singing, "We 3 Kings," while the wise persons and camels make their way to Bethlehem and give their gifts to the baby.
If you are able, please remain standing. Sorry about that, a little delay there. Now we have gathered everyone who is a part of the story of the birth of Jesus. Let's pause for a moment and just look. Look at the shining stars and angels. Look at the shepherds and sheep and wise persons and camels and animals all gathered together peacefully in the manger. Look at the parents and their baby. This story is about hope and new life. It is a story about birth and wonder and mystery. It is a story about love getting born into this world and how love can change everything. It is all still here. Look, it is all still here. Our closing hymn is O Little Town of Bethlehem on the insert in your order of service. As we sing, everyone can make their way, oh so carefully, back to their seats. We ask that you put your costume in its bag and leave it in your pew. Let's remain standing as able and sing O Little Town of Bethlehem.
Friends, as we have joined together this morning to celebrate the holiday season and to celebrate the story of the birth of Jesus, let us be reminded that there are many ways to be worshipful on Sunday mornings, many ways to experience that connection to each other and to something which is larger than us. This morning we have done it in a different way than usual, through joy and connection and fun and costumes and a telling of a story. Let us carry the joy and goodness and connection of this moment with us through the holiday season. Go and be blessed and be a blessing. Amen.